We're gonna go ahead and get started. Thank you everyone for joining us in person and online. We're delighted to kick off the 2024 Farmers Market season. We're gonna do some introductions and then we're just gonna jump right on into our presentation. I'm Amelia Clott. I'm the Director of Events here at the partnership. I oversee all of our downtown events such as the Farmers Market, the World Food and Music Festival, and a variety of others, and I'm delighted to share that I've been with the market. This will be my 4th season, and really excited to share with you the 2024 market team.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Wires. I'm the new Downtown Farmers Market Manager. I officially stepped into the role on March 1st, but I've been full-time with the partnership since October. And then this is going to be my 6th market season. In 2019, I started here as the farmers market intern and then just never left. So I'm really excited to see the market through the manager's eyes this year and kind of take what I've learned in the last few seasons and make our market even better. So.
I'm gonna stand over here so I like the camera when how it is. Hi everyone, my name is Stephanie Keel. I'm an event and project specialist here at the partnership. This will be my first market season. I just stepped into this role actually 2 weeks ago. So you'll see me on site helping out with the staff EBT. If you're a Spark DSM vendor, you've probably gotten an email from me. And then I'll also be helping with our Saturday Salutes program.
Hey everybody, my name is Molly Atkins. This is my 2nd year with the partnership and my 3rd market season. I help with a lot of the production behind the scenes items like the porta potties and the trash. You'll see me on site a couple of times a month.
So with that, we're going to jump into some highlights and kind of an overview of our market and some of the expectations for this year as we start our season. So again, this is our market staff. You'll be seeing us on site as well as a couple of on-site ambassadors that we will hire as well. So there's a small but mighty crew of us that work every Saturday at the market. We also have an intern that we'll be hiring and also some, again, on-site ambassadors. So you'll see us running around in our purple shirts this year. If you have any questions, just feel free to ask. So our market runs starting May 4th this year until October 26th, and it's open to the public from 7 a.m. to noon. And then in October, we change our hours to 8 a.m. to noon. So we can, adjust for the same time. October's notoriously a little bit more chilly than the rest of the market season, and so we adjust accordingly. This year we are adding a new street to our market, and so we are making sure that we continue to grow. And so the far street on Water Street there, closest to the river, we're adding about 12 more vendor spots on the north side of that street. So we're really excited to expand our footprint because with this expansion, we're also going to be activating the HubSpot, which in past years has been used for like a public restroom. There's public restrooms there, but it's the HubSpot on the Riverwalk there. So we're really excited to activate that space and use public activation, as well as have some of those, vendors on that street as well. So we really think that this new addition is going to be a really busy place with having it be an entrance into the market, as well as kind of those activations that we're hoping to have, such as yoga and some other different things as well. So for vendor setup, our street closure begins at 4:30. However, we ask that you don't show up until 5. So we will be on site at 4:30, towing cars, making sure the street is clean, and making sure that everybody is kind of ready for our vendors to come in and start setting up. So we will be on site, the police will be on site, and the tow trucks will be on site at 4:30, but we ask that you don't show up until 5. So at 5 a.m. you can start setting up your booths, which means you can drive into the market, you can set up your booth, you can unload, and then by 6:45, that's when we should be done setting up. Okay, you can still be setting some things up, but your vehicle needs to leave the farmers market at 6:45. Also at this time, the barricades will go up and no vehicles will be allowed in. So it's really important that you get your vehicle outside of those barricades by 6:45. At 6:45, we also have implemented in the past, so we're going to do again this year. You can do vendor to vendor sales only, starting at 6:45. No sales to the public until 7 a.m. when we ring the bell. You can sell to your fellow vendors, your your neighbors that are around you. So, that starts at 6:45 and then 7 AM is when we can start selling. Vendor tear down is sometimes a puzzle and a challenge when all of our vendors, all 260 of them that we have scheduled every week, are trying to get out at the same time and be off the street by 1 o'clock. So it is really important that we make sure that we're being courteous and we're not blocking the streets. At noon, our market closes and the last sale can be made at 12:10. At 12:15 is when vehicles can start re-entering the market. So you won't be allowed into the market again with your vehicle until 12:15. I should also say that if you are late to the market in the morning setting up, you still can set up if it's after 6:45, but you will have to walk your items into the market, you can't drive. And same with this, if you're, if you're really ready to tear down at 12:10, you can do that, but you cannot enter the market until 12:15. So if you're, if you don't wanna bring your vehicle into the market, that's fine, you can walk your stuff out, but we ask that you don't take your vehicle until 12:15. The barricades are still gonna be up, and so just be patient while we get those moved and out of the way. We will be having certain vendors park their cars in front of some of those barricades again, just for kind of a double security measure. So be patient while they get to their cars, while they move everything so that we're getting those barricades out of the way. They are big, heavy barricades and we don't have that many cops on site to help us move them. And so it does take a little bit. That being said, we do have a traffic flow map that we will be sending out at the end of all of our vendor meetings in a recap email. And so you can pay attention to how the traffic is supposed to flow on those streets when we're exiting the market. There must always be a lane of traffic open on every street. I know that some of those streets like Second and Third, they're one ways anyway, and so it is a little bit easier to get in and out. Whereas Fourth Street is sometimes a bit of a beast to get in and out of, and we realize that, we understand that. That street is just incredibly narrow and there's a lot more vendor capacity on that street. So we want to make sure that everybody is understanding that vendor flow map, and that if you have questions, whether it's on site or before the market starts, to please reach out and ask us. We're trying to make this as seamless as possible. But when you have 260 plus vendors trying to leave all the same time, they can cause traffic jams sometimes. In regards to parking, this is our map. It's not the updated one. As you can see, the Water Street's not included on this one. We will be sending an updated one out to everybody, but just know that where it says vendor staging on this map, that's regarding parking. So that is where the vendors can park. So if you're a new vendor this year, you should receive a parking pass from us today. If you're in person, if you're virtual, you can come to the information booth at the first market at your schedule and come grab that from us. The vendor pass is for one of your vehicles, and that means if you have this pass, you can park in the vendor staging parking lots. If you have a secondary vehicle, you will not get a second pass, but you can park in any of the public parking lots. The one that's south of the courthouse is a free public parking lot for the market on Saturdays. So feel free to park your car in there. And at 5 AM, there's not really a whole lot of competition for those parking spots in the public lots. The vendor lots, they are a bit more competitive. So you want to make sure that everybody, again, is being kind, courteous, and parking in the spot that you need to park in. If you are a food truck and you will not need a parking pass. But if your food truck is a trailer and you need to unhitch your truck from the trailer, that truck or the car that you're towing your food trailer with will need the parking pass. So if you're a food truck that just pulls in and sits, you don't need a parking pass. But if you have to unhook your vehicle, you have like a trailer that you're serving food out of, your towing vehicle will need this pass to go park in a lot. Again, secondary vehicles can park in that public lot. And then this is just kind of showing where those vendor staging lots are. There will still be access to the vendor staging in front of the Polk County office building, even though we've added that addition to Water Street. There will still be access to get into the parking lot there as well as into the market. So opening day is May 4th this year, so we're really excited. It's gonna be here before we know it. And this is some of our sponsors that we have for this year as well. Unity Point has agreed to be our presenting sponsor once again, so you will see them on site as well. So now we're gonna dive into some vendor requirements. First and foremost, insurance. This one's a big one. Every vendor is required to have a certificate of general commercial liability insurance. So this is the information that you will need in getting that. So again, we'll send this out in our recap email, but if you want to snap a picture of it, feel free to. You can also submit the certificate to the farmer's market at downtowndsmusa.com email address, or you can upload it directly onto your market spread account. Either is fine. Sometimes people want to mail it to us so that we have a physical copy. That's fine too. You just need to have this in hand by the time that you start vending. So if you're not gonna be a vendor until June, we needed it in June. If you're gonna be in the first market, we need it by the first market. So making sure that everybody has this up to date and also has it on record. The next part is the Iowa Department of Inspections and Appeals. Now, they will come on site for just about every single market. So you need to make sure that your licensing and your inspections are up to date if that is something that is required of you as a vendor. If you have any questions regarding any sort of inspection, appeal, or license that you may need, specifically food vendors, things like that, this is your contact for that information. If you have other questions, you can always email me and I can connect you with Kurt, but he's really gonna be the one that is the all brains and knowledge about licensing, inspections, appeals, all of that stuff. So typically this is with food vendors, but just if you have any other questions, he can answer those. So a market spread account, we're gonna dive into this a little bit as well. Everybody should have a market spread account. It's how you apply to be a vendor this year, and it's how you apply to be in the market. And this is gonna be your portal that you utilize all season long. So Market Spread is a portal that was created for our market, and it helps us streamline a lot of different things, including payment and product acceptance and decline. So in the product tab, you'll want to make sure that you list all your products that you're selling, or a generalized list of your products, and making sure that you're only selling the ones that have been approved. So if you're a produce vendor and all of a sudden you want to sell a windmill, make sure that's in there so that we can know that you're selling that and we can approve or deny it and kind of give you feedback on as to why we did what we did. So just know that that's listed in there. Typically, it's not an issue, but we just kind of want to keep tabs on what's being sold in our market. The other part is the stall assignments. You should be able to see the published map of all of your stall assignments for every day that you're scheduled. I will go into a little bit more depth, saying pending versus accepted dates. So sometimes when you look at those maps, you'll see the date, and then you'll see a sign, and then you'll see a booth number. On some of the other dates, you might just see pending. If the date is pending, it means you have not been scheduled. That doesn't mean that you won't be in the future, but it does mean that you have not been scheduled as of now. If you're interested in getting some more dates, you can always reach out throughout the season. We have finalized our schedule. We do not currently have any more space really available for the first 2 weeks of the market. We are pretty much completely booked, which is really exciting. But as the season goes on, we tend to have people that move some dates or drop some dates. And so if you're interested in having more dates on your schedule, just reach out to us throughout the season. We can see where we can put it. This is also where you're going to be getting your vendor invoices. We are currently working on getting those invoices out. And so you should be seeing an email from us and Market Spread within the week, having those invoices out to you. And this is also where we will get the vendor emails each week, the weekly emails for the market. So if you're not getting any notifications from Market Spread or from us, please let us know. Also make sure that your contact information that's in Market Spread is up to date. This will be very important when we're trying to contact you and also when we talk about some stuff later on in the presentation. So in regards to vendor booths, most of our vendor stalls are 10 by 10. However, the ones on the south side of Court Avenue are a 10 by 15, and that's because they're a little bit diagonal. So we want to make sure that we're accommodating and giving everybody the amount of space that they need. Make sure that you're showing and selling your products from your booth and selling from both sides if you're on Court Avenue. So just kind of taking it into account where your vendor booth is and kind of where the flow of traffic is and where you might get your buses. And this is just kind of a diagram of how those booth spaces look. The south side of Port Avenue is a little bit more diagonal, so that's why those booth spaces just get a little bit more space outward. So this is our updated map with all of our vendors' booth spaces, and so this is what we look at when we try to schedule you. So it is a massive game of Tetris trying to piece everything together. You can see that we have 3 food truck spots this year, which is an addition from last year as well. We also have our extension down on Water Street, which has included about 12 more booth spots, which is really exciting. So we are pretty much packed to capacity this year, which is really great. We have, like I said, every booth space except for possibly like 1 or 2 filled for the opening day, and same with the next few weeks to follow. I will also say about Water Street there at the end, that addition will be open May 4th for opening day. And then we will unfortunately not be able to have that open for the next 4 weeks. Other events have the street closure, and so we won't be able to utilize that street for our market. June 8th, it will reopen and we'll have it for the rest of the season. So we're hoping that next year we can get on the street closure a little bit sooner and make sure that we have that for our entire market. But there will be 4 markets in which we do not have that street closure. If you are a vendor that is scheduled there for those 4 weeks and you're not scheduled and you want to be moved somewhere else into the market, please reach out to us and let us know. We're happy to accommodate that if you are affected by this, the closure of Water Street. So we are a rain or shine market, which means if the weather looks like it does outside today, we are still going to have market. However, not that we've had to use this last year, but we have in the past. We always want to be prepared if there is emergency weather or other emergencies happening. If the market is, if there is inclement weather and we do happen to close that market, we will use our team of on-site EMTs, police, market staff, different people to just make sure that everything goes according to plan. We do have our emergency procedures in place, and so we will use those if necessary. In my 5 seasons working the market, we've not had to close. However, we've had a few delays. So just know that there is weather that just changes. We do live in Iowa, so we don't know what that weather is going to do. If the market is closed or canceled, so if we get on site and we're starting to sell and we have to close down and cancel the market, all the vendors are required to shut down immediately and remain closed. Vendors are not allowed to sell products in, on, or near the market grounds, and the vendors are required to take cover and promptly exit the market site completely, including the removal of all of your products, equipment, and your vehicle. So if we go around and we say, hey, there's a tornado, we need to leave, you are expected to leave. You cannot stay and try to sell through the tornado. That is not what we're going to be doing. So we will push out notifications via market spread. We will also go around physically to the booths to make sure that everybody is aware of what is happening if this does happen. If we are, if there's inclement weather in the very beginning, but it looks like it's going to get better, we may delay the market a bit because we'll have to delay setup, which then will delay the opening of the market. Again, this has only happened a couple of times in the last 5 years, but again, you never know. We want to make sure that we're always prepared. So again, this is where it's important to make sure that your email and your cell phone are up to date in market spread, because this is how we will share our emergency protocol and make sure that everybody is on the same page. We will also be on site, making sure that everybody knows too. We're not going to leave you out there if there's a tornado, but we want to make sure that that's kind of the first thing that you see when you're on site is, oh, I got a text, there's an emergency, we're going to need to go take cover or leave if there's a rain delay. We're also going to start utilizing market spread a bit more on site for things such as lost children. And in the past, we've had some people come to the info booth and say, we don't know where our kid is. And so it's something that we're going to try to do to push out notifications of, hey, there's a lost kid. If you see this person, let us know. Just to have some more eyes on the ground. Sometimes we have people wandering and they go to you guys. They go to their vendors that they're familiar with, or the one that they last went to. And so it's really important for all of us to kind of work together and make sure that the market is a safe place. This is just some of our notable rankings and awards. We are one of the largest markets in the Midwest. And we are the #2 market in America, so there's just a lot of really great things happening. We're hoping to obviously continue to grow with that addition to Water Street as well. We're continuing to make strides to always be better, and we are a better market when everybody's working together, the vendors, the patrons, the entertainers, the staff, everybody, so, that's just really great. So I want to highlight some of our on-site programs that we have and some of the new things that we're going to be doing this year. The first is the Saturday Salutes. So the Saturday Salutes, they will be placed on the corner of 3rd and Court on those spots on the south side of 3rd Street. And the Saturday Salutes are nonprofits. So these are organizations that identify as nonprofits that have the chance to be at the market. So you'll see like Absolute Fair, you'll see some other nonprofits as well that kind of come through there and do different things. The next one is the Market Extra. Some of those will be in the same place on our community corner there. Others might be spread throughout the market. One of the more notable ones that you might see on site is the Iowa Wild. They're usually on site doing stuff, so they are considered a Market Extra. They're kind of our on-site sponsors for the day. We also have entertainment and musicians scattered throughout the market. So we have a few different locations for them along Court and on some of the side streets. And so it's really great to see all of the talent that we have. We have balloon artists, we have some musicians, we have, I think we're having Darth Vader walk around this year for the first market. So it'll be really exciting to see all those entertainment. I will say in a previous meeting, somebody had mentioned, like, what do we do if the entertainer next to us, their music is just too loud and we can't hear? You know, it's perfectly acceptable to go up to them and ask them politely, hey, can you turn this down? Of course, we want to know if there is an issue, we want to all work together. So we are more than happy to come over and do that for you. We do that on occasion anyway, because we kind of notice it ourselves when we're walking around, but we can't be at every entertainer spot all the time. So, you know, if there is an issue, please let us know, and we will take care of that. The next one is the Spark DSM Business Incubator, which we will talk about in a minute, as well as the DMARC Meals from the Market, which we'll also talk about in depth in a little bit. The pop-up activations, this is new this year with that addition to Water Street. So we're doing those activations at the hub. We're gonna be doing yoga about once a month. We're gonna be doing some other different things like bouquet making, stuff like that. So just something to get more people downtown and to have them stay downtown longer. So really to try to utilize that space, since otherwise it's gonna just sit empty during the month. And finally, the Iowa State Survey. If you were a produce vendor, you probably remember us walking around last year with our clipboards asking you, what is the price of your tomatoes? What is the price of your cucumbers? Unfortunately, we are doing this again, which is really great because we love it, but sometimes we know it can be a little bit cumbersome when your lines are really busy. So bear with us. If you need us to come back later, we definitely can. That is an acceptable answer, but just know that we will be, I have no idea what that's gonna look like this year, what we're gonna be documenting, but we will be walking around again, kind of tracking some of that produce for a couple of months in the market season. So like I mentioned, Unity Point Health is back again to be our presenting sponsor. So they will have their booth spots across from us on 3rd Court. They have some really great activities that they do to engage their booth space. The hospital people were there last year. We have pediatrics, wellness is always there doing some wellness exercises. Last year, the surgery team came down and played Operation with some of the kids that went through that booth, which is really great. So they do a lot to interact with their space, which is amazing. So if you're ever bored, you need to go pick up a Unity Point spatula. They always have plenty on hand. So make sure you stop in there and start. So this is going to get a little bit more into depth on Meals from the Market. So this is a program that was created in 2009, and you'll see their trademark yellow tent right next to our booth on 3rd Court. This year they will have black aprons, not the yellow ones. They will still be carrying around their wagons near the end of the market. So I believe they started at 11:30, and they'll walk around and just ask some of those vendors if they have any extra food they want to donate to DMARC. DMARC is the Des Moines Area Religious Council, and so they have a food network pantry, a food pantry network that they disperse all this food through, which is really, really great. So you can see our totals from 2022. There were almost 23,000 pounds of food that came out of the market that was donated to DMARC. And then last year there was almost 35,000 pounds of food, which is incredible. I think when we were talking with the DMARC folks the other day, they were saying that since 2009 as a whole, coming out of the market was like 400,000 pounds of food that they have received in donations to distribute through their food pantry network, which is really, really incredible. So again, like they'll be walking through and they have said, you know, if you're just, you can sell up until that 12:10 mark, so if it's come back later, we don't have anything right now, that's perfectly fine, but just know that they will be around again with their little wagons to collect anything you're going to donate. The next is our incubator program, which is newly named the Spark DSM Business Incubator. And this is gonna be to support small businesses and improve the economic growth for these small businesses in Des Moines. So it's sponsored by Principal and EMC Insurance, and then it's in partnership with the Evelyn K. Davis Center for Working Families, Lady Lake, and Center at Central at Six. And so this is a really great program. The booths look a little bit different than they do in this photo. This was a couple of years ago, but now they are red and white tents, and there are 3 booth spots on Third and Court next to our tent. We have 26 Spark DSM vendors this year, which we're really excited about. And so they're gonna be going through their vendor meetings here soon as well. But they're gonna have 1 or 2 spots throughout the market each month and just kind of rotating through all of those vendors. So I really encourage you to go check them out because they're fresh businesses that are gonna be at this market. They also have the opportunity to sell at the World Food Music Festival and out to lunch as well through this program, and they get some extra business help from our talent. So it's a really, really great program that we have started, and we've had really great turnouts, and some of them have even turned into occasional vendors at our market this year, which is really exciting. We will be having our bike valet again this year with the Street Collective. And this is where customers who ride their bike to the market can go check their bike in and like park it there for their duration of the market, so they don't have to carry it around with them. It is 8 a.m. to noon, and it is weather dependent. So they don't necessarily follow our weather protocol. If it's really rainy and they don't think there's gonna be a lot of bikes out, they probably won't be there. But just know that they will be at the terrace parking lot there in the 100 block of the market. And so if people are riding their bikes around and they ask anybody, you know, hey, where do I park this? You can direct them to the bike valet. They did tell me that when I met with them that they've never lost a bike in the many years that they've been doing this. So hopefully that's a sense of security for people who are riding their bikes. Okay, so we're gonna dive into some gift certificates and talk about EBT and Double Up Food Bucks. So I know this part can get a little bit muddy in the water, so bear with me. I'm gonna go through it pretty quick, and then I'm gonna ask if there's any questions. So if you have a question about any of this stuff, please keep it, and I will ask for questions here in a little bit. But first, I'm gonna go through the types of tenders and the types of monies that we reimbursed you for as a vendor if you accept them. So the first one is our market gift certificates. So these are what they look like. They come in $1 and $5 increments. They do say downtown farmers market on them, so they are only able to be used at our farmers market. So they can't take these to any other farmers market and use them. These are not sold to the public. They used to be. They are no longer sold to the public. However, you will see them in circulation because we do give them out to our volunteers from the partnership. We give them out to some of our sponsors, our on-site staff. So you may see these in circulation, but we do not sell them to the public. So the quantity that is given out shouldn't be too big. Some of you might not even see them throughout the season, but some of you might see quite a few of them. So just know that there is no change given for these. So if somebody hands you the $5 gift certificate and they're buying something for $4, they don't receive change. We will reimburse you for that full $5, but they will not get $1 back. So they know that, so there shouldn't be an issue with that because when we hand that to them to use, we tell them that there's no change. All vendors are expected to agree and accept the market gift certificates. We will reimburse you for these. As long as you get them to us, we will reimburse you for them. So this is just kind of our currency that we use when we're on site with our staff as well as for our sponsors. It's an easy way to hand them $5 and say, hey, go grab something that you want from the market. So again, they can only be used at our market. We will reimburse you for it, and there's no change that can be given. The next section is about SNAP and EBT. So because we have a centralized EBT system, this means that anybody who accepts SNAP and EBT as a normal vendor still can do so, as well as those vendors who sell coffee beans or honey or spices or things that are pre-packaged and ready to be taken home. There is no cash back for EBT, and they can come to the information booth and we will swipe their EBT card and we will give them these tokens, these little wooden tokens. Those wooden tokens are what they will use at our farmer's market. Again, they can only be used at our farmer's market. So they don't need to swipe a card, they don't need to do anything, they will come to us and do that. And then we will give them these tokens in which they could use at your vendor. Now, the foods that they can buy with SNAP are household items like breads, produce, meats, dairy products, seeds, plants that produce food for you to eat, things that are pre-packaged, honey, coffee beans, things like that. You cannot buy beer, wine, pet food, household, like paper goods, vitamins, hot foods, or served foods and drinks. So it's only kind of that produce and pre-packaged with the label stuff that you can buy with SNAP. There is no exchanging SNAP for cash, and there's no cash back on these as well. I will say that you will also be reimbursed for these. So if you accept the tokens, you will be reimbursed for those as well. The next one is the Double Up Food Bucks. And this is if you have SNAP. So this is for SNAP eligible customers. If the customer has SNAP and they come to us and get those wooden tokens that I showed in the last slide, they are eligible to do a Double Up Food Buck. Now, what this means is if they come to us and say, I want $10 in EBT tokens, in SNAP tokens, we will give them 10 of the tokens and we will automatically sign them up, if they're not already, for the Double Up Food Buck program. This will match up to $10. So what that means is if you get 5 tokens, we give you 5 Double Up Food Bucks. So you walk away with $10 to put towards produce, which is really amazing. Only eligible vendors can use this, and so this is primarily for produce vendors and vendors that have fresh fruits, vegetables, plants that grow edible food, things like that. So the EBT can be used for the tokens can be used for any prepackaged item. Double Up Food Bucks can only be used for produce. And this up in the corner is the market token for the EBT, or for the Double Up Food Buck. The customers will know this, so they shouldn't be trying to buy something that's not eligible, but it's just for you guys to know, so that when you're doing transactions, you're aware of the possible tenders that are coming through as a transaction. So these have previously expired quarterly. This is gonna be, they expire annually now. So this token up here is gonna be for the whole year. So you'll see this for the entire year. Again, no change back, and you must return these weekly in order to be reimbursed. So how this works is we have a list of vendors that accept SNAP, EBT, and the Double Up Food Bucks, and we will pass out one of these bags to you at the beginning of the market. So one of our ambassadors will come around and give you one of these bags. Inside the bag, you will see this sheet right here, which is kind of a cheat sheet. So if it's the token, it's the EBT, and it shows all of the eligible products that they can buy with that token, the wooden token. Then it will show the picture of the Double Up Food Buck, and that's all of the eligible products that they can buy. So inside, it will have the sheet of paper and it will have the receipt. You do not need to fill out the receipt unless you physically have tokens or Double Up Food Bucks in your pouch. If you do not have anything in here, we will pick it up and it will be fine. You don't need to do anything. We will pick these up at the market every single week. So we'll pass it out at the beginning of the day. We'll pick it up at the end of the day. Doesn't matter if you have anything in it or not, we will still pick it up and we will still give you one. So these are the 3 possible tenders that you can see. The Double Up Food Buck, the token, which can only be used at our farmer's market, and the gift certificate, which can only be used at our farmer's market. These 3 items will be reimbursed from us as long as you put them inside your pouch. Now, if you were a vendor that does not accept EBT or SNAP tokens and you get a gift certificate, just come up to the information booth and we can help you out with that. But if you accept SNAP and EBT, you will get one of these pouches and you'll put them in here, and these are the only 3 things that can go inside of this pouch. So I'm gonna stop here for right now. Does anybody have any questions regarding EBT, SNAP, or Double Up Food Bucks, or any of this?
Yes.
I think I might.
Yes,
So I do gourmet popcorn. So pre-bag, and I do
Yeah.
kettle corn as well. So would I be doing all 3 of those?
you would be doing the gift certificate at the very end there, and then the token in the middle.
Okay,
The Double Up Food Buck is only for fresh fruits and vegetables.
okay,
So the prepackaged popcorn would be the SNAP eligible. So you'll see the tokens and possibly the gift certificates, but you probably won't see any Double Up, and if you do, you can't accept them.
okay.
Yes,
Okay, I sell prepared food like, if I have like a steam bun, if it's frozen, is that gonna qualify for any of the SNAP?
it's prepackaged,
Yeah,
does it have like a label on it?
I'm good.
So if it's something that is prepared and packaged and has that label, so think like artisan food, like it's in a bag, it has something on it, then yes, it would. If it's something that they take directly there and are meant to eat on site, then it would not qualify.
Okay, and I can talk to Stephanie about how they.
Yeah, you can you can email Stephanie, you can email me, we're both involved with that, and so, we can help you out with that, and anybody on site is more than happy to assist if you have questions.
Okay.
Yes.
I had a question about the downtown farmers market and the certificate.
Yeah.
And they say can use only market produce, but some people they ask for flower. So
Yeah, so this is, the certificate is market products. So anything at the farmer's market, they can use that on.
Oh, okay.
These 2 ones are only for like produce and the prepackaged and vegetables. That one down there, they can buy anything that they want.
Is that you?
Think like a gift card. Yep. Yes.
Do you have to accept SNAP?
If you are SNAP eligible under our farmer's market, you do have to accept them. But again, we will reimburse you for that full amount. And so, as long as you put this bag in, like you should be reimbursed, no problem. But if it's, like thinking about some of your products, like some of that wouldn't be eligible, anyway, so.
I just know last year we turned some away, but
Yeah,
we weren't really sure.
yeah, if you get one of these bags, it means that you are SNAP eligible under our umbrella, so then you would have to accept it. If you don't get a bag. Okay, any other questions regarding any of these 3 items? Okay, now, not to muddy some already pretty murky water, but there's also the Farmers Market Nutrition Program and the WIC checks. The very important thing about this is the farmer's market is not part of this program. The vendors themselves have to individually sign up for this program, and so we will not reimburse you if we get these. This is something that the individual vendor has to be signed up through the Department of Agriculture. And that means through this program, you have to turn these checks in. The farmer's market will not reimburse you for these payments. So, if you want to be a part of it, or you have questions, or you're, want clarification on anything, here's the contact information for that. We will also be sending this out in that recap email, so you have the contact. I know the process is changing a little bit this year, and so it won't be physical checks, it's, more of a digital process. They still have the option for the checks, but what you're receiving won't look exactly like this. So again, if you have questions regarding this, you can reach out to John, whose information is on the screen. But just know that the farmer's market as a whole is not part of this program. That is individually for the vendor, and we will not reimburse you. If you have no idea what this is on the screen, you've never heard of it, You probably don't accept them. You probably are not part of the program. So if you don't know what it is, don't accept them because we will not pay you back for them. Okay? On a different note, we do have a couple of different groups on site every market. So there's our market staff, and then there is our off-duty police. We have EMTs, and then we have Operation Downtown, which will be taking care of some of our meters, the meter bags, things like that. You can see them walking around, mainly Des Moines. In the past, they have done our trash as well. This year, we are hiring that out with a different organization. So you will still see people on site taking care of the trash and recycling. However, trash removal is on you as a vendor. I say that it's like camping. You pack in, you pack out. We want no trace of you ever being there when you leave the market. Now, we understand that things happen. There are spills, there are different things like that, and we just want to be made aware of that if that is the case. But we shouldn't be shoving our trash into the public trash barrels. We shouldn't be leaving them on the street. We do a walkthrough at the end of every single market, and so we know where your booths are assigned. So if there is reports of you leaving trash or leaving your booth space a mess, there will be fines, there will be consequences, and we will have that conversation if it gets to it. But it won't, because we're all great, we're all rock stars, and we're not gonna leave our trash on the street. There are recycling bins, this is what they look like. So if you're, you have people asking where recycling bins are, any blue bin that looks like this is gonna be a recycling. This parking and transportation, this is more for the customer. If the customer is coming in asking, where do I park? Parking was so bad, I don't even know how to get down here. We do have a free shuttle that runs downtown. It's called the D-Line. It runs every 10 minutes and it goes from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Now, that being said, you as a vendor, unfortunately, probably won't be able to utilize this by parking elsewhere in downtown and taking this. But if you have staff that work in shifts at your vendor, so if you have a later shift coming in, possibly they can utilize this. But you can park anywhere on this route and the D-Line will pick you up, and I believe it stops on Walnut Street or Locust Street. And so it's only a couple of blocks from our market, which is really, really great. So any customer can take that D-Line and get to our market. All right, so that was a lot of information. I know that. We went through it really, really quick as well. So I'm gonna give some time for some questions, but just know that we will be sending these PowerPoints out. We will be sending a recap out, and then we'll be happy to answer any of your questions at any time. So with that, do you have any questions right now?
Okay, the question is about vendor signage and where you can and cannot have that on or around your.
Yeah. So question about vendor signage. So your booth spots typically are 10 by 10. Some of you have more, some of you have just the 10 by 10. That signage you can have anywhere on your booth. However, you need to be courteous of the people around you. You want to make sure that if you have a 10 by 10 spot, that you're staying within that 10 by 10 spot. If you have a 10 by 20 or a 10 by 30, right? You want to stay inside of that booth spot. As for like signage, as far as it goes outward, just making sure that that's pulled in, that you're not, having a bunch of signage out in the middle of the walkway. There are 25,000 people that come down to our market every single Saturday. And so if 25,000 people are walking through Ford Avenue and your sign is just out in the middle, people are most likely gonna run into it, trip over it, knock it over. So just being cautious of that. Also taking into account your fellow vendors next to you, making sure that you're not impeding on their 10 by 10 space either. Obviously, we know some vendors have a curb spot and that is a little bit more forgiving, but just knowing that even if you are on a curb spot, you still need to be in that 10 by 10 location.
Another question is, where do you pick up parking passes and vendor shirts?
Yes. So if you are virtual today and you still need to pick up your vendor pass or your vendor shirt, you can do that at the information booth, which is located on 3rd and Court. It's a big red tent across from the blue Unity Point tent. You can't miss it. You can pick those both up at the info booth on your first scheduled market date. And we will be happy to help you. If you are here today and you still haven't gotten a vendor pass, if you're new, or t-shirts, let us know and we will get that to you before you leave today.
Another note on the shirts is every vendor gets two shirts. And if we have availability at the end of May, there may be the opportunity to, so we will make you aware of that.
Yes.
So I have a few questions. First, are there seated and table areas for people to eat? Are those designated?
Yeah, so we will have two locations with picnic tables that are sponsored with Unity Point. And so they will be on Third Street and Fourth Street. And so they will have some seating areas on both of those spots. We also have some seating over by Hy-Vee, which is pulled out from Hy-Vee, and it's like aluminum chairs and tables over there. There are also lots of benches. We're also kind of looking at Water Street still and kind of determining what seating we need to put down that way. So there's gonna be more seating this year, which is good. That is
needed. And then on that, I just get a lot of questions like, where are the ATMs for those clearly marked?
Yep, so again, we'll send out a map with all the information to you, and the public map will be published soon that we can distribute. We're looking to get kind of a fuller pamphlet and map this year to actually hand out to everybody so that people know that. But bathrooms are gonna be located on each of the entrances as well as every block in some of those parking lots. ATMs, we can kind of look into that to see. I know the Stuffed Olive just moved into that district building that was there, and that used to be where the ATM is, so I believe it's still there. There's also one on Annie's there at Third, so there are ATMs available within some of those businesses, but we can have those marked on our map.
There's also one on the, between Fourth and Fifth on Court, and then by the Royal Mile. So there's, I think, 4 or 5 ATMs, so we can make sure it's on the.
I usually just send people to the info booth.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's perfect.
You can help them. And then on that, on the info booth note, so if customers are looking for certain vendors or a certain product, you have that available on the website, and then also at your booth, you have like the binder, you can flip through and tell people where they're at.
Yep, so if people are looking for a specific vendor or specific product even, they can always come to our information booth. We have binders full of information about every single vendor that's on site. We can tell them where they are. If they're not on site, we can tell them when they will be on site. We also have a QR code that we are gonna put on some of our signage this year that people can go and scan, and it'll take it straight to their website, our website, and it'll show the list of all of our vendors. So we have lots of resources this year, which is great.
Also, if you sell gluten-free, vegan, those sorts of products, make sure that your Market Square account is up to date with that, or send us an email. We're really trying to work through lists that provide that information as well, because we get a lot of those questions on the info booth.
Final question, sorry. So on the incubator vendors, are there gonna be near your info booth, or they're all spread out?
So the 3 of the booths are near it. So there's one right next to the Unity Point tents, or 2 of them right next to the Unity Point tents. They're on Third Court, and then one next to the Meals from the Market tent, which is next to ours. So they're all kind of in that general area. So you'll see all 3 of them. They're in the same spots they were last year. So if you saw them last year, they're gonna be in the same location.
Okay, and generators.
Yeah, so in our handbook, which you should have all gotten a printout of the policies today, if you haven't, make sure you grab it before you leave. They do list what kind of generators you can have at the market. There's a very specific kind. I don't know off the top of my head, I don't know, Amelia, do you know what kind of it is?
Quiet ones.
Quiet one. I don't know what brand, but it explains in there what kind of generator is allowed.
It just seems like the new people don't know that, and they're really loud.
Yeah, so just making sure that if you do have a generator, that's a good point. If you do need a generator or have a generator, please look in the rules and regulations that are on your market spread. You had to agree to those when you applied to the market, so you can go back and look at that. If you need a copy, please let us know, but that guidelines, everything that you will need to do for the market, including what types of generators to use and making sure that it is a quiet generator. Any other questions? Awesome. Well, we are always able to answer any of your questions, whether it be before the market starts on May 4th or on site. Thank you everybody for coming down today, and thank you everybody online for hopping on. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself, and we will get everything answered for you. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Questions I send them with information, because they always tell them where to go. Right? There you go.
Yeah, one of the backs.
Yeah, the worst is last year.
Yeah. Been busy yet? Getting the ground ready, planting. Trying to get putting the ground for. Yeah.